Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt, he's producing. And we're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get to today, as later tonight we'll have Game 1 of the NBA Finals, OKC and Indiana. We'll talk a lot about that game tonight, this series in general. We'll get to our top 10 players in the NBA Finals. Keith Smith will join us. We'll talk a lot of NBA with him. Then about 5:30, we'll make our picks, do a little bit of breakdown. But news all over the place. We've got bold news. We've got NFL news. Aaron Rodgers has announced where he's going to be played. NBA news all over the place that doesn't have to do with the NBA Finals. More coming out about Tom Thibodeau. So a lot to get to over these next 3 hours. But before we do any of that, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, doing great. Great to be with you guys. And we all thought this was coming. Mm-hmm. It got a little bit clumsy with the Aaron Rodgers news, but in the end, look, it's June 5th. Plenty of time for some workouts and plenty of time to be in camp with drama free, and we'll see how much he has left.
Yeah, that's the biggest question, is how much does he have left? For anybody who hasn't seen this news, Aaron Rodgers, it is being reported that he will head to Pittsburgh tomorrow and sign a 1-year contract with the Steelers. It's been what everyone has been speculating all offseason, but it is the question. Look, everyone was so excited when he signed with the Jets of what it could be. They had a lot of young weapons, some really good players. Now you add a guy like Aaron Rodgers, and then he immediately gets injured. Last year he really wasn't the same, and now we'll see. What does he have? But I think you're right. There's still a lot of time, and I don't think this isn't one of those where he's just been somewhere minding his own business all offseason and then wakes up today and says, I want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, it feels like, even though we don't know, it feels like a lot's been going on behind the scenes. I think everything you've seen throughout the offseason will tell you that Pittsburgh felt pretty good that Aaron Rodgers would be. The league did.
The TV schedule proved it.
That's a great point. TV schedule proved it. Them going to the draft and not getting a quarterback. Them going through free agency and not getting a quarterback. All signs are pointing to it, even when we've talked to Bo, and I'm so excited for Bo to be able to cover Aaron Rodgers on a daily basis. But even going all the way back to the end of the season, when we were talking with Bo Marchand about could he be a Pittsburgh Steeler, he always kind of made it sound like, yeah, probably. That's kind of the way it's looking. So now we do have kind of official word now that he will be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
And look, this isn't playing for Robert Saleh. Mm-hmm. This is playing for Mike Tomlin.
That's right. So
you would think any diva volume he could turn down a little bit for Mike Tomlin, because the whole league has a lot of regard for Mike Tomlin. So you would think he would play nice, certainly in the beginning, and if it ended poorly, it would all be aspersions cast on him, not on Mike Tomlin. Opening day, Pittsburgh Steelers, MetLife Stadium against the Jets. High noon in New York.
Nobody knew that Aaron Rodgers was going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, and so it'll be one player seeing his old team, another player seeing his old team, because it looks like Justin Fields will be the starter for the Jets. So that'll be fun.
Week 2, the Steelers host DK Metcalf's old team, the Seahawks. Week 3, the Steelers are in New England. The TV times and games, it really told us he was going there. They're playing the Steelers are playing in Dublin week 4.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a lot. I remember around the NCAA tournament, we talked about it a lot of, give us something where the storylines are there. We don't care about seeing New Mexico State and St. John's. Give us John Calipari and Memphis. Give us something that the storylines will be there. Well, the NFL gave us all the storylines. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers seeing his former team week 1, with DK Metcalf playing Seattle week 2. I mean, the NFL is very good at having storylines for their schedules.
Oh, they really do. I mean, it's tomorrow's headlines today.
It sure is.
They can't. Mm-hmm. They can't make the games go how they want them. I almost said fix. They sure can't. Don't even say that. Yeah. They can't coordinate the games.
No,
but they can coordinate the drama and the storylines, and they do it well. So no doubt. I mean, he's long been done in New York. Mm-hmm. Would you like to amend where you had Aaron Rodgers ranked in all-time New York Jets on the afternoon of his first game that lasted for one completion that was incomplete, one attempted pass that was incomplete, excuse me, and you had him in all-time Big Four that night? He went on in his New York Jets career to be 16th in all-time passing, Ahead of him, Neil O'Donnell, the old Tennessee Volunteer, Pat Ryan, who was on the games last year with Bob Kessling. We've asked that.
Yeah.
Good one to ask our guest at 3:30 on who might be on the games. Pat Ryan was a great high school football player in Oklahoma City, recruited by everybody. I remember it very well. Dick Wood was ahead of Dick Wood was ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
What do you got on old Dick Wood?
Nothing. Other than he's 13th. Al Daro, I don't know the pronunciation, 13th. You want to stay with Aaron Rodgers, one of the all-time great Jets?
I will slightly amend my previous rankings.
Great Caesars. Ghost Dick Wood played at Auburn.
Shout out Dick Wood.
Don't know that I ever knew that.
It's a great name. I don't know if you come up with a better name.
Lynette High School, Lynette, Alabama. I got nothing on it.
Got nothing. It's not good when you're talking about players in front ahead of Aaron Rodgers that we got nothing on or can't pronounce the
And
name.
I mean nothing.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
Okay, so you want to move away from the Jet
Slightly.
stuff?
Just slightly.
All right,
Just slightly. Not fully.
Give our audience and give Landon and I just a little view into, well, when would Pittsburgh play on that first Monday night game? And we'll do a big 4 at 5:30 on that Monday. Where would you have Aaron Rodgers as an all-time Steeler?
Have him in the top 4.
No, Brian. You don't do it to yourself again. No way.
I'd have him as an
I
OLI.
can think of 20 Steelers ahead of him.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
Easy 20.
I could get behind an OLI.
All right, no lie.
Oh, come on, man. No, y'all can't
Well, I
be
didn't.
serious.
I didn't specify how far outside we're looking at.
Oh, only a few OLIs. I mean, we can't have 100 OLIs.
All right, let's go through a few. Head or behind Ben Roethlisberger?
Behind.
Head or behind Terry Bradshaw?
Way behind.
Ahead or behind Franco Harris?
Behind.
Yeah, he's behind.
Lynn
that.
Swan?
Behind.
John Stallworth?
Behind.
Mel Blount?
Behind.
Jack Lambert?
Behind.
Joe Green?
Behind.
Mike Webster?
Behind.
The center from Florida?
DK Metcalf ahead. Oh, he's ahead of DK Metcalf.
Hines Ward. Head or behind Hines Ward?
Behind.
Oh, behind
George
Hines
Pickens.
Ward.
He's ahead of George Pickens, Brett.
Wasn't one of the Pouncey's a good center for the Steelers?
Yeah. Don't ask me which one, but one of them
Yeah.
was. He would not be on my list.
Rocky Blyer.
Told you, Brett. He's a far outside looking in.
It's getting farther, though.
Getting further,
I mean,
yeah.
we're almost moving into the Central Time
He
Zone
hasn't
from
even played a
downtown
game
Pittsburgh.
for the Steelers.
Well,
yet.
He hadn't played a game with the Jets when I put him in my top
Rod
4.
Woodson.
No, that's not
Look,
even.
here's the thing, Brett.
Young White.
It's
TJ, not TJ.
It is TJ.
It is TJ.
I will
Kevin Green.
I will acknowledge that it was foolish before even playing a game to have him in the top 4. I thought we would have a lot of good to talk about with Aaron Rodgers. Very clearly we did not, and now it is a completely different Aaron Rodgers we're talking
An
about.
hour later, he was out.
It was, I blame
We
myself.
did Big 4 Monday Night Football pick and preview
I blame myself.
at 5:30 on Monday. That game started at 6, didn't it? That was the
I
the
believe
2
so.
games that
Yeah,
year.
I believe that's right. Heck, it started at either 6 or 7.
Before I got home, he was out for the year.
Yeah. And I felt to blame. And that's why I'm only slightly adjusting this, because I do think if he had not have gotten hurt, we're talking about a different Aaron Rodgers.
All-time New York Jet passing list, 3rd, David Cohn's father-in-law, the great Richard Todd.
Really? Holy
Yeah.
cow. Wow. I did not know that. Wow, that's a good spot to be on in the list. Top 3. That's really good.
Oh, I can't wait to the Steelers' first Monday night game.
I'm never going to live that down. It's one of those things, Brett.
It was heat of the moment.
Hey, sometimes you swing and you miss.
That's right.
You know, you can't bat 1,000 every time. And
You were kind of forecasting.
exactly. You know, and again, if he hadn't gotten injured,
But
he would have been up.
But I even modified it. I mean, actually have played now.
Yeah.
Not
and
careers.
I said, he's Aaron Rodgers.
He had not attempted a pass.
No.
Later that night, he would only have attempted one that year.
Again, Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to send you an apology letter or something.
And I think that was the same day of Jay Morgan's just scathing rip of Joe Namath,
I think it was too.
which was
Yeah.
beyond incredible.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to take swings, and sometimes you come up.
Belated
on the
happy
shoulder.
82nd birthday to Joe Namath. I think it was
Shout
over
out-
the weekend.
Shout out Joe Namath. I'm sorry I missed. I love birthdays. I'm sorry that I missed old old Joe's birthday. But no, we'll see what Aaron Rodgers has left in him in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. Certainly, we've seen him out there with DK Metcalf throwing it around, and he's got Calvin Austin. And Calvin Austin will be a teammate for him.
Does
so
this qualify as all in?
Oh,
Pretty in?
It's pretty in. I think it's
First question to Bo next Tuesday.
Yeah.
He's not going to block for himself.
No. Oh, no, certainly not. Certainly not. But, it's been weird for the Steelers because I think you can make an argument that you started to see him. You played the game last year where Russell Wilson, kind of last leg of him, and, you get him cheap. You got him super cheap, but it's a guy that was at a very high level, but was very clearly, by the time he got to Pittsburgh, not at that same level.
And by the end of the year, not at the level he started with.
Exactly. And so you can make that same exact argument about Aaron Rodgers. This is a guy that was, at one time, unbelievable, a phenomenal quarterback, but we've seen now age, injuries. He is not the same Aaron Rodgers that he once was. And so, how all in can you be if those are the two quarterbacks you're turning to? But I do think they're pretty in.
Y'all want to put the conspiracy hat on?
I love conspiracies, Brett.
Landon, you got your conspiracy hat, Andy?
Oh, it's on.
Is it on? Okay. Mine's on, tinfoil and everything.
I love tinfoil.
Perfect conspiracy hat,
man.
isn't it?
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Today's announcement was not coincidental.
Okay.
It's because game one of the NBA Finals.
Oh.
NFL doesn't play nice.
Wow. We just started the show, and we've spent 11 minutes talking NFL, and it's game one of the NBA Finals.
In an NBA town.
In an NBA town.
And
Holy
we were
cow.
hyping up the finals are finally here yesterday.
That's right. Wow.
Right. Y'all with me?
I'm with you.
I don't even need the hat
NFL
on.
does not play nice.
Because we've known. We just talked about it. We've known all
They know
off
their
season
king.
that he's going to the Steelers. He's the biggest name out there.
This couldn't have been yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Holy cow.
This couldn't have been next Tuesday.
Couldn't have been. Yeah, I mean, really. Why today?
Had to be on game one, huh?
Wow, Brett, I'm with you there. I'm with you. Because, I mean, this is...
Group lock on conspiracy.
Group lock.
I don't even need the hat for it.
I
don't either.
No,
I'll go hatless.
I think that's
Great.
fact.
That's great.
Heck, I'll go topless and really scare our audience.
Because who is the most controversial, biggest name in the NFL? It's Aaron Rodgers. And so you have news on him, and it's going to dominate.
2:30 it breaks. Wow.
I did love, speaking of the NBA, and we'll talk a lot of it today. Before we started the show, I walked in here, and ESPN was talking NBA, and they were talking Tom Thibodeau, and they were talking replacements for Tom Thibodeau. And right under it said St. John's head coach Rick Pitino says he is not interested in the job.
No chance, he said.
Love that.
New odds out. Johnny Bryant, minus 200.
Yeah.
Mike Malone, 2-1. Jeff Van Gundy, 6-1. Jay Wright dropping 9-1. Danny Hurley, who said no chance, 12-1. Taylor Jenkins, 14-1. Wow. Chris Quinn, 16-1. Mike Brown, the same. Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, 20-1. Rick Brunson, 25-1.
Oh man.
Ime Udoka, 33-1. Mike Budenholzer, 40-1. James Borrego, Mark Jackson, Sam Cassell, and John Calipari, all 51 odds going down for Cal.
Wow.
It was 40 the other day.
Yeah, man. Who would have thought?
All courtesy of betonline.ag.
Wow. I just love that we're getting updated odds on the New York. Only New York Knicks would get updated odds for their coaching hire. I just don't know, man. You mentioned Johnny Bryant is the favorite. What were the odds for Johnny Bryant again?
Minus 200.
Yeah, so I mean, he's becoming the overwhelming favorite.
In a bidding war.
Yeah, and I just don't know.
With Phoenix, isn't it?
Well,
or Cleveland. No, not Cleveland.
It was Phoenix. He was finalist for it, but they announced yesterday they're going with the other assistant from Cleveland. Okay. So I don't know if that was like a thing where he backed out of it and they just announced their guy because he knew he was getting the Knicks job, or I don't know the insides of that. But he did not get the Phoenix job. And I just don't. I mean, look, if you're firing Tibbs because you want a guy that can get you to the championship, I just don't know if hiring a
guy at 0-0.
Exactly, like that hiring an assistant coach might work out. It just doesn't scream win now to me.
You want odds on Paul Skeen's next team? I didn't know he was leaving Pittsburgh. Did you?
Please, let me guess.
From betonline.ag.
Let me guess. One of Dodgers, Yankees, Mets is going to be
Dodgers
the first.
1, Yankees 2. Mets way down there, though. 12-1 for Mets.
Yeah, I don't think Paul would go to be a Met.
I mean, I guess if he's going to go to New York, you'd be a Yankee, not a Met.
Give me the Cardinal odds.
40. I'm going to say they're pretty down there. Yeah, I'd say
40?
I'd say around there. Yeah, maybe 50. I don't know.
it might as well be 40,000. 22 to 1.
Yeah,
No, just
no chance.
literally no
No
chance.
chance. No chance at all. No chance at all. And I was reading
Because you got to give to get.
exactly.
What are the Cardinals going to give?
They've got nothing to give. How about
Albert Pujols signed jersey or something.
yeah,
That's not going to be enough.
we won't make him our manager. You can make him your next manager. How about that? We'll trade you a future manager for Paul Skeens. Yeah, Paul Skeens has been a big conversation. I was reading stories yesterday about who will be, who won't be sellers at the deadline, and the biggest one, I read like 3 different stories, and all of them said the same thing. We don't know what to do with the Cardinals right now. Like, they should be sellers,
Well,
but
it's
they're winning
unanimous
right
because
now.
the Cardinals don't
They don't
know what to do with the Cardinals right now.
They have no idea. And speaking of that, 4-4 going to the bottom of the ninth for the Cardinals against the Royals.
Comeback.
That's right, a comeback because they were down early, but they're starting to
A
make
lot of
their way back.
doubleheaders this year for the Cardinals. In
Oh,
the
yeah.
Cardinals game notes, so far this year, they've had 2 sweeps, they've been swept once, and they've split once.
Wow.
Since 2000, 18 sweeps, been swept 6 times, and 33 splits.
Wow. Huh.
That's a lot of doubleheaders since 2000.
That's a ton of doubleheaders.
Just didn't realize.
That's crazy.
Never have
That's insane.
swept the Royals in a doubleheader.
Well, maybe today's the day.
Last swept by the Royals last year
Really?
in a doubleheader.
Really? Wow.
I don't remember that either.
I do not remember that, but
I can remember Richard Todd better than I can last year. How's that happen?
well, that's a good question. Speaking of baseball, the Rockies, 3 wins in a row. How about that? I mean, before we even started the show yesterday, they had 3 wins in a row. It's crazy.
There's somebody out there after they got that first win, no way they can win 2 in a row and
Oh,
put a bundle
Oh
on it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Then after 2 in a row, no way 3.
Well, it was something like it was the first time in like 59 series that they had swept, and something in like 20-something series that they had just straight up won. Like,
I think
mean, it was
now
crazy.
on pace for 29 wins.
Holy cow, that's wild. Good for them. Round of applause for the Rockies.
Yeah, way to go, Broncos.
Now they get to go see the Mets. Their reward for a sweep is getting the New York Mets. So I don't know how long that winning streak will last. We just got a text message. Texter texts in, says, "Tell me I am dreaming. I hear y'all saying Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler." Well, good morning.
Real.
Hopefully you weren't driving when you heard that news. Aaron Rodgers, a Pittsburgh Steeler. He will sign tomorrow, but the news out there that he is planning to be in Pittsburgh tomorrow to sign the contract for a
I want
one-year
to see
deal.
and hear him all the right things.
Yeah.
Let's play ball.
Yeah. And you
No
mentioned
drama, no McAfee, no going to be somebody's VP candidate.
Yeah.
Let's just play ball.
Play ball, yeah. And I think you mentioned it. You know, Mike Tomlin is one of the most respected coaches in the entire NFL. And, you know, they're both adults. I think.
Don't show him up.
Yeah, I think they have a conversation.
And he won't show you up.
Exactly. And, you know, I think they have a conversation of, look, you know, here are things that, like, if you want to do it, fine. But the team's got to be first, and you've got to be a quarterback first before any of this other stuff.
And they shouldn't have to do it, but if they do, we ain't the Jets.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, Steelers have a little bit higher standards than the New York Jets. Well, we've got a busy show this afternoon, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville. He's going to join us to talk Tennessee baseball. We talked with him last week before regional play, and we told him hopefully we talk to you again next week. In anticipation for the Super Regional, and that's exactly what we're doing this afternoon as they will be taking on Arkansas in Fayetteville. We'll talk a lot about what Tennessee did over the weekend and what this weekend series will look like. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball. Being a Thursday, a lot of day action across Major League Baseball. We'll talk about that. Give you an update on what the Cardinals are doing. At that point, they will likely be done with game number 1. So we'll talk baseball at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He'll join us to talk the NBA. A ton to get to with him. Obviously, the NBA Finals, but a ton of other news out there, including what will the Knicks do for their new head coach. It sounds like the Phoenix Suns, after hiring their head coach yesterday, they plan to have Kevin Durant moved by NBA draft. So that is in the next 2 weeks. So a lot to get to at 4 o'clock with Keith Smith, who joins us every week to talk the NBA. 4:30, we'll stick with the NBA talk, and we will talk the top 10 players in the NBA Finals. I'll be honest, Brett, this was tough. This was not easy to do, but I think I like where my 10 are right now, and we'll get to that at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us to talk Tigers. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending. During what's trending, we'll break down the NBA Finals and make our finals picks. Then at 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pool starting at $19.99 installed, with liner starting at $299. And right now, all pool accessories up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99, with swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. Don't forget about patio furniture. Select sets now up to 50% off. And if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time. He's Bryant. I'm Brett. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255, produced by Landon Schmidt. Please join us. We're always in our Family Leisure studios, and always this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. And that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, I'm starting to buy into your conspiracy theory about Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not going to let it affect my top story of the day. But I will say, I have gone to all of the big websites right now. ESPN, front page, breaking news, Rodgers plans to sign with the Steelers. You got to scroll down to even see NBA Finals and the score bug for tonight's game.
The poor bowl list released
That's
really
true.
dropped
Yeah,
down.
I mean, that's
They
out of
don't play
everybody's
nice.
mind. No, they do not. Athletic, top story, Aaron Rodgers to sign with Steelers. CBS Sports, the big front page headline, Rodgers agrees to deal with Steelers. Score, you see Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. Yahoo Sports, the big story is Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. So you're right. NFL doesn't play nice, and maybe this was a little more manufactured than we're led to believe, but I'm not going to let that change my top story of the day. It is the NBA Finals getting started with Game 1 tonight in Oklahoma City. It'll start 7:30 on ABC, and we'll see. We'll get, I was talking with someone earlier and they said this feels like a game where maybe OKC, they go into it kind of knowing they're the better team and they kind of use game one as kind of a feeling out process, a feeling out game. Well, for us as the viewers, this will kind of be our feeling out game of what will this series look like. Hopefully, it's a very competitive series between two teams that have looked really good throughout this playoff process. Now, OKC, everyone thought they were going to be here. Going into the playoffs, it was pretty much everyone screaming, who are the Thunder going to play in the NBA Finals? On the other side, the Pacers, pretty much nobody thought that they would be here in the NBA Finals. I mentioned it earlier that I think this is going to be a game that this could be a series that is dominated by the Thunder, but I do think this is a deep team with the Pacers. They've got so many weapons, but I think it starts with getting some of those other guys involved. It can't be Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam kind of in that same sense of taking over and winning games. OKC and their great defense, they're going to be all over that from the opening tip tonight. So it's got to be other guys. Can Aaron Nesmith step up? Can some of these guys off the bench, Bennett Mathurin, can he come in? TJ McConnell, can he play a role? Some of those other guys in the
Ken
starting
was
lineup.
hard.
Yeah, no, you are right about that. So I mean, we'll see what they can do, but OKC has looked really good, and I'm hoping this is a very competitive series.
I'm with you. My top story is going to remain NBA Finals. It's the NBA Finals. A guy announcing he's going to play his 21st year in the NFL. First of all, we got plenty of time to get to that.
That's right.
We only got one night of Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and that's tonight. And finally, the final exam for these teams. Indiana with the steep grading curve, Oklahoma City going for A-plus work all this year. It's all that remains for a spectacular season and what everyone thinks will be a dynasty. How many over the next 10 years? 4, 5, 6? What makes up a dynasty? Will they become the evil empire like Steph and Draymond? They were once, I don't know if Draymond was ever cuddly, but Steph was, and they became the evil empire. But up first, you got to get the first one before you can start talking about being a dynasty.
That's right.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story is Aaron Rodgers signing with Pittsburgh. He's going to be a Steeler. We spent a lot of this first segment talking about that, but now what will this look like for the Steelers? I think it is a move that says we're not completely rebuilding. A lot of people thought that they could take a quarterback in that first round, and that would kind of say, yeah, we're not really going for it right now. This is Aaron Rodgers, a guy that has won Super Bowls, that has been there, done that, and so I do think this is a in move, but is it an all-in move? We've now seen the last 2 seasons, the Steelers starting quarterback that they've entered the season have been elite quarterbacks, but guys that are towards the end of their career. I know Russell Wilson will likely be the starting quarterback with the New York Giants, but let's be honest, he is not the same quarterback he was with the Seattle Seahawks, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the same quarterback on game 1 this year that he was with the Green Bay Packers. What will it look like? They certainly have weapons. They've got fun players. We know that defense is going to be elite. Can he do enough to get them over that hump? I think he will. I'm not saying I think they can go all the way to a Super Bowl, but now you look at this Steelers team, and it's going to be pretty fun. You have kind of that national sense of Aaron Rodgers going there, them getting DK Metcalf. But how about this news yesterday? Jonah Dillon reporting that Quindell Johnson, former Memphis safety Quindell Johnson, has signed with the Steelers. He'll join Calvin Austin, Kenneth Gainwell, and Rock Taylor as former Tigers that are with the Steelers right now. So Steelers kind of turning into the NFL version of the Tigers.
And have had a Tiger touch for a coaching staff with Randy Fichtner, and I think Keith Butler was assistant coach there for a long time. So that's and Mike Tomlin
as a GA. Exactly. So they love their Tigers up there in Pittsburgh.
They do. My not top story, we will have our 12th different NBA champ of this 21st century, regardless of who wins these finals. Lakers, San Antonio, Detroit, Miami, Boston, Dallas, Golden State, Cleveland, Toronto, Milwaukee, and Denver, already champs of the 21st century. One of these 2 will join it. And if it's Oklahoma City, this will be the first one. Now, Toronto was in the East, so you can't really affect the East. But this will be the first one that really cuts to the quick of, that really could have been ours. Denver, that wasn't, and certainly not anybody else like the Lakers or San Antonio or even Golden State from the West or Dallas. But this was the one that could have been ours.
Yeah, no, it really is, and we'll see it play out with Game 1 later tonight. We'll talk a lot more about the NBA Finals throughout today's show, but that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. We got to go ahead and get to our first break, and when we return, we're talking Tennessee baseball. Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville, he joins us next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Grand. Watch all the big games and all the activities on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with reservations from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $4.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Grand.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent agents.
Kitchen ants, runaway roaches, spider. A spider! Relax. Just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other mud types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo. People friendly. Bug deadly.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom-made industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's building pretty good now on all the major outbound routes. We've had several EMS calls in the last few minutes. It seems like it's got a little bit heavier. Certain sections of Sam Cooper going outbound, watching it build through the Midtown area on 240 southbound at South Parkway as that traffic continues to push us south of Memphis on 55 down into DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry wants you to know they are your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see David at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports 56 This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Sports
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to talk college baseball. Super regional action kicks off tomorrow. About half of them will start tomorrow. The other half will start on Saturday. But we got to talk the Tennessee Volunteers. Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville. He joins us to talk Tennessee Volunteers as they make their way to Fayetteville for the Super Regionals. That Super Regional will get kicked off on Saturday. Vince, thanks so much for joining us. Walk us through last weekend for the Tennessee Volunteers. It went into Monday, a winner-go-home game against Wake Forest. They ultimately get the win and advance. What did you see from this Tennessee team over the weekend?
Yeah, great to be on with you guys as always. Appreciate the time. The Tennessee team was coming off of winning 2 of 3 in Hoover, so there was still some uncertainty on how they would look. Would they go coming off of that Vanderbilt game? Would they go, being consistent, or would they continue momentum from the first 2 games where they showed some things that they had not shown in a while, or at least consistently? So Tennessee was pretty clean the first 2 games against Miami, Ohio, and Cincinnati. There was the wondering about Cincinnati running on Tennessee's pitching staff that did not play out. Tennessee's done a better job at defending the run game of opponents. And then in the third game on Sunday against Wake Forest, Wake was ready to rock. And Tennessee did rally from down 6-2, but to tie it at 6. And that is something else that Tennessee has not done a whole lot of, is big comebacks. But then, a few too many walks, weren't able to execute bunt defense. And then a walk with the bases loaded, and Wake walked it off, literally. And won the game 4 to game 7. And then Tennessee fell behind 1-0, but then exploded in the 4th with a touchdown. And that was really, I was sitting next to David Ubben from The Athletic, and I told him right afterwards, I was just about to say that Tennessee has not had enough explosive innings offensively this year compared to last year to kind of sometimes be an eraser when things aren't going perfect. And boy, did they explode in that inning. And then they did something else that hasn't always happened this year, is when teams start creeping back against them, they had answers and continue to re-extend the lead. But the biggest thing about the whole weekend, the story of the whole weekend, was Liam Doyle. He pitched great in Game 1 against Miami, Ohio. Tony Vitello admitted that he was in his ear wanting to pitch, and you thought that there was a chance we could see Liam Doyle close things out. Well, it was earlier than I think a lot of people thought, and in the 7th inning, you could just feel throughout the game, you could feel the buzz of, because we're very close to where the fans are in the temporary setting where the press box is. You could hear them, you can feel them talking about Liam Doyle. Is he going to come into the game? When is he going to come in? What do you think about it? All that kind of stuff. Just tremendous anticipation for it. In the 7th inning, he was the only one that was throwing. And then he came in and absolutely emphatically shut the door and got them to the finish line. So there was so much energy from him, from the anticipation with the fans, and then he delivered on it in the way Tennessee extended the lead, got the job done, impacted Wake because of how dominant he was. All of it came together perfectly. So I haven't been this fan base of renewed, confident team, and you now see Liam Doyle pitching back to the form that made him as good a pitcher as there was in the country throughout the year.
Does Tony Vitello hand him the ball Saturday night?
You know what's a good
to start?
Tapings. Tony Vitello met with the media this afternoon, and he was going to announce. He may have already done so on what his pitching plan was this morning. I wasn't at that avail, and I'm just coming out of some meetings and studio taping, so I haven't checked social media. So it's probably out there. I would expect it to be Liam Doyle, but I don't know. It's either Doyle or Marcus Phillips, but honestly, I haven't seen the latest on that.
And really, for everyone this weekend, it's everybody be ready, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. And look, you had you starting on Saturday. Yeah, the regional ended on Monday. Had they started on Friday, then maybe it might have been a little bit more difficult. But yeah, no one was extended to the point where they couldn't come back. I guess it would limit you in terms of perhaps Liam Doyle, but he only threw like 21, 23 pitches, and that is what would be a normal bullpen day for him. Also, not at the level of energy and enthusiasm and the emotion of what you did on the mound in the game. But yeah, all hands are on deck that they trust. So yeah, they'll be fine regardless of the direction on starter.
And no strangers. These teams played the last SEC weekend, Arkansas, taking 2 out of 3 in that series against UT in Fayetteville.
Yeah, and Brett, I think Tennessee's in a better position than they were. Arkansas has played well. They pitched well. They pretty much cruised through their regional in 3 games. But Tennessee was not in the best spot at the time. That series lost to Arkansas was 5 straight series losses and 6 of 7. So you subtract 1 and what they were going in, and so they weren't having great success. They were still looking for answers at that point. In fact, they started Marcus Phillips in game 1 of that series. That's the one game that they won. Then Doyle didn't pitch as well in game 2. They were trying to buy him some time because they really leaned on him a lot. At one point had some blister issues, which he apparently is past now. But he's back to form. Tony Vitello and the staff likes to kind of be in routine, and their routine for most of the year was Doyle game 1, Phillips game 2, and I think them starting A.J. Russell is an indicator that they like him in that role. He didn't go as long in the last outing, but he was coming back off of short rest. I wouldn't be surprised that if it's Russell, if they have to go to him if necessary. But the way Tony Vitello plays it, and a lot of coaches do, you do what you need to do to get through the game in front of you, and then you figure it out afterwards. They got other arms they can go to and piece it together. That's how they did it in the final game. They'll do it that way again if they need to.
Mm-hmm. And you look at that series against Arkansas, I mean, in one of those losses, I guess it was the last game, the 8-4 loss, I mean, it was one big inning for Arkansas. They get 5 runs, and that really changed the game. The other 2 games, super close, a 2-run loss, and then the win on that Friday night. So it feels like, 2 teams that, in the times that they've seen each other this year have been really competitive. Talk to me about Andrew Fisher, the first baseman for the Volunteers. 24 home runs on the season, really hit the ball well over the weekend. What have you seen from him this year, and some of those bats, how big are they this weekend?
Well, he's been as good a player as there is in the SEC. I think he's certainly in the running for SEC Player of the Year that went to Bahiwa Aloy from Arkansas. But Andrew Fisher is going to be either a first-round pick or in those compensation round picks at the very least. The stock has improved a ton. Massive power, big. He led the SEC in home runs, big swings, but still has a lot more walks than strikeouts for a power hitter. That kind of discipline with as hard as he swings is an unusual skill set. So he's big. They've also gotten some other guys going. Gavin Keelan has really picked it up offensively during their rough stretch. He wasn't to the level he was earlier in the year. Dean Curley swinging a really hot bat. Manny Marin, their freshman third baseman, they didn't get him out in Game 7 against Wake Forest. He's gotten better and better. Cannon Peebles, who's suspended for Game 1, that's an interesting storyline. He got ejected late in the Wake Forest game on Monday, and you have to serve an automatic one-game suspension. So their number 2 catcher, Stone Lawless, will start Game 1, and they have a lot of confidence in him. But a lot of guys are not only just swinging the bat better, they're delivering in clutch situations and RBI opportunities. And with runners on, during their stretch where they weren't winning series, that was one of a couple of things that really let them down. It's really 3 things. It was clutch hitting with runners on, it was the defense, and then it was the bullpen. And the bullpen has improved an awful lot. The defense, when it's clean, and for the most part, then they can compete with anybody. It's just when they're in their own way, which they were during their rough stretch, that it doesn't look good, and they kind of complicate things. You get a walk, then an error, or a bad call on a balk, which they had against Arkansas, and then you have an error that complicates things, and then it hasn't looked great for a while. But man, when your offense is delivering at the clip that it is now, which is much improved, you can be an eraser to some errors in an imperfect sport. So yeah, offense will be big, but I think they need all those areas: bullpen, defense, and then the clutch hitting to all be on point to be maybe the most complete team in college baseball right now.
First time ever for the Razorbacks and the Vols to meet in the College World Series, any round, much less with a trip to Omaha on the line. Great history in football and basketball, and just up there a few weeks ago and up there last fall in football. So it will be packed. Tony Vitello, he'll really catch it from the Razorback partisans. Vince, we have talked a couple times this week, and you're the perfect person to ask. Have they formally, as the Big Orange Network, the Tennessee Vol Radio Network, have they named who will be the analyst with Mike Keith yet?
Yes, Ramon Foster.
Oh, good.
Football.
West Tennessee young man, Ripley
That's
Tiger.
right. Yeah, and he does a sports talk show
in Nashville,
our sister station in Nashville.
Yeah.
Jason Swain and Brent Hubbs will continue to be a part of the broadcast as well. So it'll be basically the 4 of them in their roles.
And you and John also contribute on game days, don't you?
For football, no, it'll be different. Mike Keith will be doing the hosting duties, and so I think he'll have a lot of those as well. I have the pregame player interviews. That those things are still to be determined on how they're going to work those.
Good deal. I am glad for him. I'm glad with Mike. Did several audition? Did they do demo games, or was Ramon just tapped to do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably not. Mike Keith is established as the Titans broadcaster. He's a Tennessee guy. He's still done stuff for the network, so I know John Wilkerson was in the mix, and he would have done a great job. But Mike being in the football world, and
makes a lot of sense. But I was thinking more Ramon with him. I knew.
Ramon.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure how they work, but they work together with the Titans, so certainly that relationship sure didn't hurt.
Good deal. Will be a fun weekend. And Vince, if the Vols advance to Omaha, we're going to catch up with you. If not, we catch up with you at SEC Media Days.
Absolutely. Looking forward to all of the above, and whenever I can, I'll enjoy it.
Very kind. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. Vince Ferrara joining us from WNML in Knoxville.
Mike Keith with Ramon Foster.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That's great.
That'll be really fun, and I'm excited to hear him on that Tennessee football coverage. I've told you, a lot of buddies that are Tennessee fans, they were ecstatic when they saw the news. So yeah, that will be
Ramon, very
awesome.
Popular Nashville talk radio personality.
Absolutely. So that will be a ton of fun.
From Ripley.
This weekend.
Tim Priest was a West Tennessee boy.
That's right.
From Humboldt.
That's right. But no, it will be fun. And this series this weekend, Tennessee and Arkansas, will be a lot of fun. Feels like a good matchup.
Tomorrow we will talk Razorbacks.
That's right. Yes, we will. Ty Richardson going to join us. We'll talk Razorbacks. The other side of this weekend matchup that will get kicked
and
off
they
on
want
Saturday.
some Vitello.
Oh man, yeah, they do. That could be a really, really entertaining
former
series
assistant for David Horn.
Yeah, so that will be fun. Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, we got to talk some baseball. Cardinals just walked it off in extra innings against the Kansas City Royals. That's
never losing another game.
Never losing again. I mean, it's great, and I don't know how Jack Caglione did this time, but it's their mistake for having him debut against the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals. But we'll talk baseball, we'll talk Cardinals, we'll do all of that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
One thing Bell Tavern can say with confidence is that you won't find a better selection of bourbon, whiskey, and scotch anywhere else in Memphis. Maybe anywhere. With signature cocktails like the 3 Whiskey Old Fashioned, the Barrel-Aged Manhattan, and the Spicy Margarita, paired with the whiskey flights like the Tennessee Bourbon Flight and the Maker's Mark Flight. There are more amazing drink options at Bell Tavern than you could possibly work your way through in one visit. In fact, it would take many, many visits to Bell Tavern to even make a dent in the extensive selection. Grab an Uber and head to Bell Tavern.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip. Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. From the makers of Miralax, new Miralax soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Miralax today at your local retailer. It's directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000-square-foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176.
lot of action around Major League Baseball as Thursday, a lot of day games, and we talked about it a little bit off air of how a lot of people making way for the NBA Finals tonight. You look at this night slate tonight. Game start. Every game has started for the afternoon. Game starts at 5:40, and then after that, after 6 o'clock, when we're done here,
clear out.
Only 3 games starting later in the night. So, I mean, it is
I don't mind that.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind.
I certainly love day action. I mean, getting through the day watching Major League Baseball.
Baseball, at least being the good neighbor as compared to the NFL.
That's true. Yeah, they're not going to – Major League Baseball not going to drop a house on the NBA like the NFL did today. But a good day of games. We mentioned it earlier. The Cardinals walk it off in 10 innings over the Royals. Wilson Contreras, a liner that got through and scored, I believe, scored 1 run. It was tied at the time. Scored a run in the bottom of the 10th to get that win. Jack Caglione gets his first hit today in that first game, 1 for 4 in that game. We'll see what he does in game 2.
First extra inning win of the year for the Cardinals. They'd been on the wrong side of 4 others like that, and I still don't like it even when my team wins, but to get 2 in the bottom of the 10th, but a lot of that, sending the runner out there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. But I'll be honest, I don't know if we've had this conversation. I know I've talked about it with other people. After watching college baseball a lot last weekend, before I tuned in, don't ask questions, just let this come out. I was watching Division II baseball a couple weeks ago. Seeing those extra innings, I'm still not a huge fan of the ghost runner out there. Certainly don't hate it as much as I did. I mean, it is kind of that regular season, that just kind of idea of the wear and tear and just using your entire bullpen in the 14th inning, 13th inning. And I don't mind.
And the time factor.
Yeah, I don't mind.
For your fans.
Exactly. I don't mind regular season. Let's get this over with and move on to the next game.
This coming from a person that I was in Busch Stadium for the longest Cardinal game that the Cardinals won.
Okay.
Against the Dodgers in extra innings, I think went 16.
Whew.
And we stayed for it all. The nice hostess in the suite we were in, she came out about the 10th with the last 2 in there, and she said, "If I went home, would y'all be okay?" It was, we're fine. Go right ahead.
Go home. Do your thing. Yeah.
And we kind of tidied up.
Locked up behind you when you left. I mean,
my friend, his wife texted. She said, "Y'all still there?" And he showed it to me. I said, "Of course we are.
Of course. The game's not over. We're going to be here till the last
Rode it out all the way.
That's awesome.
The longest extra inning game the Cardinals have ever won.
Wow.
Was that not?
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. And
now I say that, and even that night, that was a Friday night, and we were going to games on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. That wouldn't be as much fun on Sunday afternoon when you've had games all weekend. You kind of ready to leave St. Louis about 3:30 or 4.
That first night's definitely different than last night. You know, it's a lot more doable. But doubleheader today for the Cardinals. They'll get back out there about 6:45 for Game 2. Libator Reagans, a pretty good pitching matchup for Game number 2 tonight. Games all over the place. We're in the top of the 10th. Tigers and White Sox, as that game is tied up 2 apiece. We'll see who gets a win there. Landon's Mets, they're up 3-0 right now over the big bad Dodgers. We'll see if they can.
Mets are stacked.
Oh, they're a good team. And,
we're looking really good right now.
And Soto is starting to play like
Soto's playing like Soto should.
That Queens asked for. I mean, he was getting a
no
lot of heat
longer
there.
so.
I like that but no, he's
running out everything.
Well, that's the question. You know, hey, dig it out. That's all the fans are asking for him is just.
Drew Pomerantz on the mound tonight for the Cubs. With 4-game lead in the all-important loss column.
Yeah, I mean they are they're playing well right now. We'll see if that lasts, and I think they'll probably win this division. I don't think this division's very good, but I don't see them making much noise in the postseason. But hey, it'll be fun to see Pomerantz tonight. They've kind of been doing that. Pomerantz, a guy that's been in the bullpen a ton, but kind of doing that, throwing an opener out there rather than a starter. You're seeing a lot of teams do that. It looks like that's what the Cubs will be doing tonight. So those games tonight, I mean, there's intriguing games that have not started hard tonight. I mean, Pomeranz on the mound against the Nationals, Yankees going against the Guardians, Leiter out there against the Rays. So yeah, I mean, there's some fun games tonight.
Braves lose a wild one, lose 11-10, and we're getting close to. Don't get too much further back.
Point of no return for the Braves.
Getting closer.
Yeah.
11-10 to Arizona. Arizona now 31-31. Braves 7 under.
Yeah, it's hard. And
I mean, you're really not viable. Do you get back to 500? That would take even in a pretty torrid stretch to knock all those off.
And this comes after. We were talking about the week of. We're just a couple of days away from them getting back Spencer Strider, them getting back Ronald Acuna, and they were at 500. And we were saying, congrats to the Braves for keeping all of this together.
Here's that 12 out of 15
And here
push.
comes the cavalry. And since then, obviously Spencer Strider, it's it's taken him a while to try to find his way back to what he was before the injury. And so yeah, you're seeing them struggle. And you're right. I mean, that was a wild one. That was one the Braves felt like they had. And then you had a wild one. Eugenio Suarez with a big hit late in that game to secure the win. So
he's always in the middle of it.
He is. He's awesome. I love Eugenio. He's great name and a great player.
Great name. Looks like Eugenio.
It's
a Eugenio.
It's beautiful. It really is. But some good stuff. Blue Jays, who the Cardinals will see next week at Busch, they are up 8-1 over the Phillies right now. So a big lead for them in the bottom of the 6th inning. But a lot of good action throughout today. Not a ton tonight, and then we'll get a full slate tomorrow to start the weekend. Will be a lot of fun. Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, we're talking all things NBA. So much to get to. Game 1 tonight in the NBA Finals, but a lot of other off-season news around the association. We'll get to all of that next. Keith Smith from Spot Trek and the Front Office Show. He joins us next.
Kitchen ants, runaway roaches, spider. A spider! Relax. Just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other mud types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo. People friendly, bug deadly.
It's time for fun, family, and fabulous prizes at the 67th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 15th through 21st. Golfers can win cash and prizes every night, along with the chance to win $25,000 toward a City Auto vehicle purchase select nights. Then a chance to win $1 million the final night. Plus, there are cornhole tournaments every night with cash and prizes. Friday and Saturday nights, there are kids' carnival ride and 2 to 4 Saturday children's golf. So golfers, grab your clubs. Cornholers, practice your aim. Families, bring the kids. Memphis, there's something for everyone. You're invited to the biggest party of the year at St. Louis Church, 203 South White Station Road. The 67th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 15th through the 21st. Fun, family, and fabulous prizes all week as you help raise funds supporting youth programs at St. Louis Church.
In the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It seems like it's picked up with more volume on 240 east and westbound. Over here at Poplar, watching it build through Midtown just in the last few minutes. It's been quiet through there earlier on 240 going southbound, working your way past South Parkway. Continuing south of Memphis, it's been a little bit heavy down through there earlier in parts of DeSoto County with a couple of accidents and lots of radar. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters here in Memphis. Go by and see David Weimers at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show. And on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now from Spot Track and the Front Office Show to talk the NBA. Keith, so much to get to when it comes to the NBA, but let's start with the big event tonight, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, OKC and Indiana. When you look at this matchup, I hear a lot of people talking about how this is going to be easy for OKC. I think the most bet-on series odds is for OKC to win in 5. How do you view this series playing out?
I think it's going to be more competitive in a longer series than that. I think the Thunder are good. They should be favored. I think they will win. But I think the Pacers have some strengths that really counter what OKC does really well. I think Oklahoma City, the secret for them, or not so secret, I guess, at this point, is their defense is great. They pressure the ball out on the perimeter better than any team in the league. That's how they flip these 5-point deficits to 15-point leads in the blink of an eye. And they get turning teams over, then they get running out and get easy buckets. And when they're at home, the crowd gets going. But for the Pacers, they're going to play with 2, 3, 4 ball handlers on the floor at all times. Guys who can handle pressure, guys who will find the next pass, guys who will move the ball quickly, and that really, really helps. And then the other part, when you flip it to the other end of the floor, the Thunder can go through these shooting slumps where they just start missing shots. And then when that happens, you turn it into, all right, the Pacers are going to keep coming on offense. And that's where it can be, a real balancer in this series.
What's the first thing you have to see to see the Thunder not doing well that not only tonight but for the series gives Indiana hope for the upset?
That the Thunder are turning it over themselves. They're a really good ball control team. They generally don't give it up very often, but they don't have a lot of ball handlers. It's really SGA and Jalen Williams in the starting group, and then they come with like Cason Wallace and a little bit of Alex Caruso on the second unit. And what I think you're going to see Indiana do is I think Andrew Nembhard and T.J. McConnell are going to put 94 feet of pressure on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander when he's out there and really make him work. And then when he gets into the half court, then they're going to throw different looks at him. Aaron Nesmith will pick him up sometimes. And if Nembhard can do what he did to Jalen Brunson, where he was really bothering him by the end of that series against the Knicks, and he kind of just wore him out and wore him down, that's going to be huge for the Pacers.
Yeah, I definitely think. And the thing about both these teams is they've relied on their depth. We talk about, some of these teams going shorter rotations, especially in the postseason, but both of these teams have relied on their depth. I think last week we talked about Indiana. Some games they go out there and they'll use some guys. I think Benedict Matherin's the perfect example. There are some games Benedict Mathurin will go out there and play 14, 15 minutes. There are other games where he doesn't play at all. Both these teams, it feels like they have a lot of pieces that they can go to throughout this series. I think that's one of the things that's going to make this fun is because who knows who's the guy that steps up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw in the Eastern Conference Finals, Thomas Bryant got benched for Tony Bradley, who gave the Pacers some good minutes, and then Rick Carlisle went right back to Thomas Bryant in the clinching game, and he was terrific and played, arguably the best game I think I've ever seen him play. And that's, how they win. And then with the Thunder, you get past their top, 8 guys or so, Mark Daignault might go to the next 3-4 guys on the bench. So there's 11, 12 guys who could come in and really give them good, solid minutes, and that's going to be big, I think, because you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching. You're going to see both of these teams trying to go to different lineups where they have an advantage. And I think what's going to be really fun for folks to watch is I think this is going to be a pretty fast-paced game. I think it's going to be pretty up and down, and I think people are going to really, really enjoy that part of it.
Keith, I'm with you on that. Tell me, and I just hit the Google machine to find out who it was. We all applaud and recognize Sam Presti and the job he's done. How can we give no love to Chad Buchanan, Pacers GM? And I just Googled it. I didn't know who it was.
It's Chad Buchanan, but it's really Kevin Pritchard who runs the front office, and that's Chad Buchanan's the GM, but with title inflation, it's like president of, who knows. Like I've jokingly said, if I ever run a team, I want to be supreme overlord of basketball ops. Like that's going to be the title I demand. But yeah, they should get a lot of credit too in the Pacers front office because everybody knows the Thunder and the story of kind of building it up once with Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, then tearing it down, then building it up again. The other way. So now I think what's been interesting on the Indiana side was they never really tore it all the way down, but they had a couple down years in there and then kind of bounced back with making a bunch of big moves on their side to add a bunch of guys, whether that be Aaron Nesmith in one trade and then adding Pascal Siakam in another big trade. I think that's been really fun to watch both of these teams kind of build organically through a number of different ways, whether it be free agent signings, through the draft, or through trades.
What was the best acquisition kind of down ballot? We know in drafts you have to get fortunate, but what was the best pickup for either of these teams?
I think for the Pacers, it was probably Aaron Nesmith, getting him in the trade for Malcolm Brogdon. There was a thought of, all right, the big get here is we're getting the draft capital, but we'll see if Nesmith can get healthy. Because what had happened with him in Boston, they drafted him with the idea of, all right, we're going to add another wing behind Tatum and Brown, and then every time he'd get a little bit of momentum, he'd get hurt again. And then eventually it became clear with the Celtics, like, all right, this kid's just never going to play enough for it to be there. They needed another guy who could create, so they went out and got Malcolm Brogdon. Knowing Nesmith has popped for the Pacers has been great, and now they have him on a really team-friendly contract for the next couple of seasons, which is big, too. And then I'd say over on the Thunder side, it's Alex Caruso. Getting him for Josh Giddey in a straight swap where there wasn't even draft capital involved in that. Like, that's one of those ones where I think we're going to be looking at that if the Thunder win and be like, well, how did the Bulls not get more for this guy?
I know if the Thunder, if they have a parade, if they've won it all, the answer is easy. But while the series is still at 0-0, what's the better of the two pieces of art for Presti? The Durant grouping or this one?
I think it's this one because I think with the Durant grouping, what's really good there is they hit in the draft 3 years in a row. Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. And the thing to remember is the Durant choice was easy. They were picking second, and they were either going to take him or Greg Oden. Greg Oden went first, and then went Durant. So, all right, credit for getting it right, but only so much. The Westbrook pick was not cut and dry, nor was the James Harden pick, and both of those guys are terrific. But this iteration, if you go back and read some of the things when they acquired Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Paul George trade, at the time, it was all the draft picks they got, and the fact that Chris Paul and Danilo Gallinari went to Oklahoma City in that trade. But what was huge there was the fact that they also were able to get in that deal that they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Sam Presti even said on the record talking about the trade, I would not have done it without getting him. And then to say, a couple years in, the Cardinals just say, all right, we're okay, but we want to be more than okay. Let's take this down, except for SGA. We're going to build it back up. And then you get Holmgren, you get Williams, and you build it up that way. I mean, just every move has just been a hit for them.
Yeah, no, it absolutely has. It's been really impressive to watch. Going away from the NBA Finals, the big news a couple days ago, Tom Thibodeau out with the Knicks. How surprised were you with that news? Were you surprised when you heard that news that after one of the best seasons we've seen in a while for the New York Knicks, getting all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to make a change at head coach?
And, Keith, I think our friend Brian Geltzeiler is going to need to be medicated.
Yeah.
He hated it.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I thought, Tibbs had done a really good job with that team, and I thought they would more or less run it back. But this one is a real example of you can't fire all the players, so you fire the coach. Because I feel like the Knicks where we have to make a change. Can they make moves with the players? Of course they can. They've got some guys who are very tradable on that roster, but I think they're in a spot where we don't really want to break it up. And I also think, too, there's a recognition of, all right, maybe Tibbs took this group as far as he can take them because he doesn't run a real imaginative offense. He likes to play defense the way he likes to play defense and believes that's the best way to win. And I think that makes it a little harder with the personnel that the Knicks put together. It doesn't fit that perfectly. So get in a new coach who can maybe make that work a little bit better, and off you go. Maybe you do take that next step and become an NBA Finals team. As far as the rest of it goes, I don't know where they're going to go next. There's been a lot of rumors. Is it going to be Michael Malone? Is it going to be Jeff Van Gundy has been mentioned? I've heard Frank Vogel and Mike Budenholzer's names thrown out there, kind of dipping into a couple former Suns coaches. Where are they going to go with that? There's also been a lot of people who said they might go with a first-time head coach. Given that when they put out the statement about firing Thibodeau, I feel like they basically said, hey, we're solely focused on trying to win a championship. I don't know that a first-time head coach is the direction you're going.
Who's making the call? Who's making the hire?
I hope it's Leon Rose, but, we know James Dolan will be involved in it.
He can't help himself.
He's definitely, going to have some say as the owner of the team, but he's pretty much let Leon Rose do things there. And over the last 4 or 5 years since Leon Rose has been running the show, it's been a sustained run of success for the Knicks. So hopefully this isn't the chance for Dolan to jump in and get a lot more hands on.
And Keith, I missed badly on it. I thought it would be abject disaster, Leon Rose running the team. I missed badly.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you never know. When they come over from the player side to the team side, you don't know. But I will say one of the things that they did really well there was they got Brock Aller to come in from the Cavs and jump over to the Knicks. And he is just an absolute genius with the CBA and the salary cap and finding ways to make things work. And I don't want to call them loopholes because they're not loopholes, but he finds these ways to make things work within the rules that are absolutely incredible. And he does a great job. And I think Leon Rose relies on him heavily to do that. And then they've added a lot of other really good people in the scouting and personnel staffs that, I think that's a good example of hire really smart people and then listen to them. And then you just got to make the final call on things.
Keith, that is some compliment because we know you know all that too. And a team would be money ahead hiring you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But Brock Aller and I are in about there's about 9 more bridges I need to cross before I can touch his knowledge of that stuff. But I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, let's say you're the man in that position making this hire. Who is Keith Smith's selection for the next head coach for the Knicks?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a conversation with Michael Malone, Jeff Van Gundy, and Frank Vogel. And I know there's history with Michael Malone and Jeff Van Gundy with Tom Thibodeau, and maybe they're not going to want to replace one of their good buddies in the business, and that is sometimes a thing. And Michael Malone may be like, hey, I'm kind of looking forward to having a year off and doing TV and doing other things. And Van Gundy's just getting back in as an assistant. He may not be, wanting to jump right back in to the main job. And if they're not interested, I'm going to have a conversation with Frank Vogel, who I think got a really raw deal in Phoenix. I think he got a raw deal in Los Angeles as well. I think he's a really good coach who does really good stuff. So I'd be having a conversation with one of those 3 guys and seeing if I could land them.
Does Jeff Van Gundy, would that hire, that screams to me yesterday, not tomorrow?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think, he's gotten a lot of credit with the Clippers for coming in and changing a lot of the things that they did defensively. I know last season when he was with the Celtics as a consultant. He technically worked for Brad Stevens, but did a lot of work with Joe Mazzulla, too, that he got a ton of credit for seeing things and making suggestions with lineups and defensive coverages and that sort of stuff. So I think he's a lot more in tune there, but there is the component of he was the Knicks coach way back when, and maybe that would be something that people would bring up. But I do think, he's really good, and I think he deserves another chance should he want one at a top job.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people talking about Michael Malone, and I think when that news first came out, for me, that felt like the really easy answer. He's a guy that's won a championship. He's been a head coach. He's from the New York area. It felt like a very easy hire to go Michael Malone. And then I see people pointing out, well, look at the reasons that he got fired in Denver. It was playing his starters too much, not relying on the bench enough. Defense really struggled. Yeah, it's starting to sound a lot like Tom Thibodeau. What would you say about people that say that would just be replacing Tom Thibodeau with the same person but just a different person?
Yeah, first I would counter with Michael Malone, and I think he would say this, is I would have relied on the bench more if I had good bench players, because he did that in the title year and in other years, and I think he feels like, hey, just didn't have guys I felt comfortable playing. And I would also say this is a guy who took a team centered around a really good offensive center who's not known for his defense, and then a pretty good scoring point guard, and built them into a title team. And not that Towns is anywhere near Jokic's level, but Brunson, I would say most people have ahead of Murray, so you kind of run it back with really good perimeter defenders around those three. I think he'd do a wonderful job there. I just wonder if he wants to jump back in. Does he want to jump back in that situation? And again, you do have the Tibbs factor where they are extremely close. And does he want to be the one to kind of replace his buddy?
After the Knicks make their selection, are we through with any changes? No retirements? Are we done? Are we set?
Yeah, I think so. As far as head coaches go, we still have the Nuggets. They need to get they need to hire somebody in there as a general manager. So we're still waiting on that. So we'll see. The Suns hired their head coach, so they're done. They've done a clean sweep-ish of their front office and coaching staff. So yeah, we're waiting on one head coach, and then the Nuggets to decide what they want to do with their front office ball, which is starting to get now a little weird that we're this deep in. But there were some suggestions that they may have wanted to look at Tim Connolly and seeing if they could bring him back from Minnesota. But Tim Connolly came out the other day and said, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. So now I wonder if they're looking in a different direction. We saw Austin Ainge move from Boston. I had heard that was somebody else that Denver had kind of on their list of looking at. So we'll see which direction they go. The name I think they should go for is Matt Lloyd, who's the assistant GM in Minnesota. I think he's really ready for a new job, where he is running his own front office. So I think that's the direction they should go, but we'll see where they go.
Where did the Tomas Isalo hire, where does it rank with these off-season hirings?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good one because at least we got a little bit of a jump start on seeing what he can do and what he looks like as a head coach, where, a couple of these other ones are, all right, let's see, what is Jordan Ott going to be? We've never seen him as a head coach in the league. But I think you're getting Isalo in there for the Grizzlies. It's just a level of stability where it just feels pretty good of, all right, we've now got a guy in here who at least knows some of the players. I mean, he knows all the guys now, but at least knows the guys to the core group of what their strengths are and what they can do. And now with a full off season of plan and prep and whatever the roster morphs into, he'll obviously have some hand in that, and that should be really good for Memphis.
It sounds like there are reports out there that Phoenix is looking to trade Kevin Durant before the NBA draft. So a couple weeks from now, sounds like they want to get that, maybe try to get a draft pick for this year in that deal. It sounds like the Spurs and the Rockets, the two teams that you're hearing the most about when it comes to Kevin Durant. What do you think of where we're at with Kevin Durant right now and the possibility of him being a part of either the Rockets or the Spurs?
Yeah, all indications that I've heard are they are really trying. Now that they've got the front office and the coach spot done, they can now focus on finding a new home for Kevin Durant. And I've heard all the same stuff, that they want to do this. It may not be finalized at the draft. This might be one of those I call it hat shenanigans, where the kids ask, hey, are you going to like playing here? And the kid knows he's headed off to Phoenix because he's just getting traded because it's already, the news is already broke, but it kind of is what it is. So I think we're in a spot where that wouldn't surprise me if that's how that goes down and we see a trade happen. As far as teams, I've heard Minnesota really is interested in Kevin Durant. They got somewhat far down the road with looking at getting him. It was just going to be really complicated for them in an in-season trade where they were a second apron team and so was the Suns. And there were no real easy facilitators to help jump in a deal there. Now in the offseason, way easier to make that happen. Rumors are that Kevin Durant's okay with going there. The Spurs seem to be pretty interested. The one thing I worry about with the Spurs is they're pretty tight-lipped in San Antonio. Rarely do you ever hear anything come out of there in advance. So we'll see, where that goes. But I think the big thing for the Suns is why they want to get this done is whether it's to have picks in the draft to use themselves or picks in the draft where then they can turn around and say, hey, the ninth pick or whatever, we're going to actually flip that to another team, and we'll have a kind of selection, and off we go kind of situation. That's where I think they want to be in a little bit more control, knowing, hey, we might be able to turn Kevin Durant into some assets, then turn those into guys. Because the Suns are steadfast. They have no interest in tearing down and fully rebuilding. They're going to move forward or trying to reset on the fly.
Yeah. I'm just seeing this, I guess earlier today, Shams Charania reported that the Knicks made an offer for Kevin Durant at the trade deadline, and there was mutual interest between Kevin Durant and the Knicks at the trade deadline. Going back to the Knicks just real quickly, you mentioned, it felt like a situation where, you can't fire all the players, so you fire the coach. Do you think we see any moves for the Knicks this offseason, or will it kind of be new coach and let's see what we can do with a new guy in the leadership position?
Yeah, I would preach patience with them because they're really close, right? You're in the East Finals. A couple of those games go a different way. You might be playing tonight. So I would not go crazy with changing the roster. I think get a new coach in there and see what they can do with that mix. You make some tweaks around the edges of the rotation for sure. See if you can build up depth a little bit better with a little bit more reliable guys. But for the most part, I'd stand pat. Now, that said, if the right deal lands in your lap, yeah, you probably need to look at it. But, the one of the concepts I've heard is could they trade Karl Anthony Towns, bring in Kevin Durant, keep Mitchell Robinson, and roll forward that way. And that there's some interest there. I guess that's a interesting-ish move. But I think the challenge is, is that where the Suns want to go? But the Suns have said they really want to get a 5 in there that can start. Towns and Booker are extremely close. So, there was talks of them trying to play together in the past in Minnesota or Phoenix. So maybe that is the direction that they go. I think, the Kevin Durant stuff is going to be interesting because the only thing that's going to throw a huge monkey wrench is we get word within the next week or so that Giannis does want out. That's going to put the brakes on just about everything else because it's going to be, all right, we got to deal with this first because 29 teams are going to line up their very best offer for Giannis and see where that goes. Probably only really about 8 or 9 of them have a even decent chance at getting him, but that could put the pause on the Durant talk.
When will the trade start, and will the league, do they require kind of a moratorium on anything during finals?
They don't. They prefer that trades aren't made during the NBA
Just let
finals.
the NFL make news with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, exactly. They don't want, the focus to be on anything but the finals games. But the NBA also knows, hey, we've got 2 and 3 days in between some of these finals games. If we get a trade on the day in between, all right, that's okay. Like we'll own the news cycle there. If we go back a couple years ago, Al Horford got traded in the middle of June when he got traded back to Boston, and Kemba Walker was sent to the Thunder in that kind of salary move for the Celtics that worked out really, really well, where they got Horford back. But I think what you're more likely to see is things will pick up draft week. That's the tricky thing, and it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the NFL for a team, and he was saying, I don't understand the NBA because it'd be like having the Super Bowl and the draft 2 days later, and then free agency opens 2 days after that. He's like, nobody has had any time to breathe and do anything. But that's how it works in the NBA. The finals, if the finals goes the distance, it goes to 7. The draft is only a couple days later, and then free agency is less than a week after that. So it all comes at you very, very quickly in the NBA.
Yeah, it really does. Well, tonight's going to be fun. Game 1 between the Thunder and the Pacers. Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Keith.
Keith Smith joining us to talk the NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. And he's right. I mean, it's finals, it's draft, it's free agency, it's summer league, it's all of that. It comes at you bang, 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 and then you get a little bit of downtime before you get to training camp and preseason and all of that stuff.
NBA offseason's really, really good.
It's really good.
It's just really, really short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
it's all in a big flurry.
That's right.
Mostly done by 4th of July.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's about a 2-3 week process where it's just every single news tidbit that's coming out is NBA off season, and then you get done with that, and then from about early July,
it's what made Woj famous.
Yeah, it really was. But you get all of that, and you needed somebody like that to really be able to keep everything in line. But then once you get to that point, from there to really October, it's a lot of downtime,
and occasionally that blockbuster on season eve.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, we saw it last year with the Knicks in Minnesota. But, no, I mean, and this year is going to be different. Last year we had the Olympics to kind of get us through the, August and keep basketball in our minds. But it's going to be a little different this year with that not in factor.
Keith Smith joins us every week. He was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. And at Sissy's Log Cabin, you can enjoy that great location at 4542 Poplar. I was there yesterday. And that store, it is just fabulous. It's something you would see on Michigan Avenue in Chicago or Park Avenue in New York City or in the toady areas of Dallas. We got it right here in Memphis at Laurelwood, at Poplar and Perkins, huge supporters of the hometown teams like the Tigers, official jeweler of the Grizzlies at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. They're part of the fabric of the community. Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, anything for that special moment in your life. And coming up for Father's Day, don't forget Dad at Sissy's Log Cabin with everything for Dad there as well. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more since 1970 with all the locations across the Mid-South. Official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, we're going to keep talking about the NBA with the finals starting tonight. We'll rank our top 10 players in the NBA finals. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. The commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
So you need to sell your house? I have a solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses, any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone, call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses, guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill 901-406-1101. Bill and I buy houses.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's gotten heavier over here with that traffic volume right on schedule, especially 40 East coming past Covington Pike as you work your way towards White Station. Busy to the south. It's been on and off today with some radar down there in DeSoto County, south of Memphis on 55. It's gotten heavier 240 East from Mill Branch, now getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Dandelions, crabgrass, nutgrass. Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says give them a call. They'll take care of it, make your yard look better than your neighbors. Call Lawn Solutions 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to continue the NBA conversation. We're going to do more breakdown and picks later in the show about 5:30, but a fun little exercise here. Top 10 players in the NBA Finals this year.
You see the first topic on PTI, don't you?
How about Pablo Torre on PTI this afternoon? Mm-hmm. But yes, Aaron Rodgers, the lead-in story for PTI.
And they're carrying the finals.
That's crazy. I mean, in just a couple hours. This isn't like tomorrow night the NBA Finals are starting. This is ESPN tonight having the finals on their network. And
this was not coincidental.
No, it certainly was not. You also pointed out earlier they had in the background of SportsCenter, they had an edit of Aaron Rodgers in a Steelers uniform, and it was number 12. It was not number 8. It was number 12.
Better check with the
he was wearing in the background.
With Terry Bradshaw on that.
Yeah, that's going to be the big story now that he's signed with, or I guess now that he's going to sign with Pittsburgh.
Well, I guess Pickett wore 8.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tommy Maddox wore 8 once upon a time. I don't remember many other 8s for the Steelers.
Yeah, let's see if we can go find.
I don't remember a great one.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, hey, if you gotta go ask Kenny Pickett to sign off on number 8, I think you're in. I think you're clear. I think you'll be all right. So I think he'll probably wear number 8 in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I don't.
Any notable 8s?
I don't think any notable 8s out there. I could be wrong. But here we go. All players to wear number 8 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a long list at all. This is crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys.
8 8s.
Wearing 8s. Yeah, that is correct. Let's see. Someone from the 1940s that I won't even go back that far.
Tommy Maddox did, didn't he?
Tommy Maddox wore it from 2001 to 2005. Kenny Pickett wore it. Other than that, it's nobody. I mean, it is. Melvin Ingram wore it one year.
on defense? The South Carolina Melvin Ingram?
Yes, the defensive end. Yeah,
because we
wore number
started
8. That's right.
numbering like this goofy.
In 2021, he sure did. He wore number 8 for.
I love in college when you get a defensive tackle that's number 22. That's not for the big leagues. That's not for the show. It's not for the NFL. In the NFL, if you're a defensive lineman, you get a number 70 and up, in my opinion.
Right, yeah.
Maybe 60 and up.
But you got Melvin Ingram rocking number 8.
Maybe 50 and up, but not number 8.
I think Aaron Rodgers would be all right having Melvin Ingram and Kenny Pickett and Tommy Maddox checking off on number 8.
And a lot of times, long ago in college, when you had that player that's number 34 that's playing defensive end, he probably was a fullback as a freshman.
Yeah.
And got assigned that number.
Got switched, yeah.
Or was, maybe a tailback even. They moved him to defense.
Exactly, and just keep your number and your number whatever. But yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, I would, if I was placing bets, I'd say he wears number 8 in Pittsburgh and doesn't even try to mess with number 12.
Bradshaw didn't deserve that.
No, certainly not. Certainly not at all. All right, well, top 10 players in the NBA Finals between these two teams, OKC and Indiana.
Group lock number 1?
Yeah, group lock is pretty easy. SGA.
Anybody with Alex Caruso as 1?
I do not have Alex Caruso as number 1.
No.
He's on my list,
one.
but he's not
he's in the list, not number 1.
Unanimous 1. Unanimous 2?
I think so.
Pretty sure. Tyrese.
Hallie? Yeah, I got Halliburton.
All right, 3. Who wants to go 3? Unanimous 3?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm going to say no.
Landon?
I went Pascal.
No's correct.
Okay. Oh, you did not go Pascal.
I did not.
I went Pascal. We were one short of.
I went Jalen Williams.
Okay. Interesting. I don't mind that. I mean, he would have been my 3rd if I hadn't gone with Pascal.
So 4s.
4s, I have Jalen Williams as my number 4.
I have J-Dubs as my number 4.
Yeah.
I have Chet Holmgren.
Wow. Holy
Chet
cow.
Holmgren's my number 5.
Chet Holmgren is my number 5 as well.
What in the world is
I have
going on
Alex
right
Caruso as 5.
Wow. I
haven't gotten to Siakam yet.
You have not. That's insane. Wow. That is crazy. And what number are we at? We're at 5? And
we're at 6 now.
6 now.
I have Pascal Siakam at 6.
Okay, you're number 6?
I have Aaron Naismith.
That's a good one. I have Miles Turner, maybe like the unsung hero for the Pacers. He's been
have
great.
Miles Turner, just not yet.
He's been great all year, and hadn't been fantastic this postseason, but hadn't been bad this postseason.
I've Googled every search way I know how. Is this the least experienced NBA Finals ever? Who has the most Finals minutes? I can't get a return back on anything
really?
good. It comes back crazy stuff.
I believe that.
I haven't asked Grok. Grok's busy with its owner today, I think.
Yeah, Grok's got its own problems to figure
Grok's
out.
probably dealing with something Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I don't know.
I think he's dealing with Elon.
I think there's bigger fish to fry with Grok right now.
We had a big divorce today at Grok.
Ooh, yeah. That I did not know about until like an hour ago. I'm like, what's that talking about?
I didn't either. And I don't know what I opened up. And it was with it.
You closed it.
No,
I don't need this.
No thanks.
Your number 6?
Pascal.
Okay, Pascal. 7?
7, I went Lou Dort.
Wow.
I omitted Dort.
I did too. He was the OLI for me. I like Lou Dort in there.
I like Lou. I like his defense.
I had Naismith 7.
I have Isaiah Hartenstein, number 7.
I have Hartenstein 8.
Okay. You're 8?
Almost a Grizzly last summer.
I have Caruso 8.
Okay. My 8 is Aaron Naismith, number 9.
Miles Turner.
I have Caruso as number 9 for me.
Group lock on 10. I don't think he's been called yet, has he?
I don't think he has, but I went Andrew Nemhard.
Same.
Bennedict Mathurin.
Okay. So we had
Love Bennedict Mathurin.
12 different names.
We had a lot of different names.
We did have a lot of different names.
We had different. We were very different in there.
So maybe it's not a landslide for one. I had 5 Pacers, 5 Oklahoma City. Now
I had 5 each.
It was top heavy Oklahoma City for the top 5.
I had 5 and 5 as well. Yeah.
Okay, if you have 5 and 5, then why are we all blowout?
Well, because I think those 5, like you said, you have them very top heavy. I spaced them out a little bit. Those 5 are really, really good. I mean, they are incredible.
They just want one, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Just get one in Oklahoma City.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think if you're the Pacers and you go back home,
they got 2 in New York, 1 and 2.
They sure did.
And now we're learning that game 1 is what probably cost Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, and I keep going back to that of this Indiana Pacers team. Everyone and their mother is talking about how they are going to get blown out. I mentioned earlier the 5-game series is, I believe, the most bet on in terms of series bets. But at the same time, this Indiana Pacers team has played the role of the underdog the entire playoffs. The betting market has picked them as the underdog in every single series they've played, and every single time out they've gone out there and have played extremely well. So I don't want to go out there and every time I try to say it's competitive, I come back to, well, OKC's defense is this, and their playmakers are this, and they've got this much scoring and all of this. But I don't think you can immediately just say OKC is going to run through.
Keith was 4-2 or better. He wasn't 4-1. The gentleman's sweep it's out there for everybody.
Yeah, I mean it's everyone. It feels like they're about 5 games. I think it's going to be 5 or 6. I'd love for it to go 6 games. I think that I don't really see this going 7 games. But if we can get 6 games, I think that would be a lot of fun. And
what coach? What advantage? Who would you have?
I
would have Daynall with that team,
sure,
but I would have Carlisle with most other teams.
I think you've got to go.
He's won it all before.
Yeah, look, he's got the most experience. He's a veteran in this. I don't want to say because this is a good Indiana Pacers team, but what he has done with this Pacers team and how they have gotten better throughout the season, how he was able to run this back after last year and get back not only to just the Eastern Conference Finals, but further to the NBA Finals. I'd go Carlisle 1. Dejanol is a fantastic coach. He's a close second. But, yeah, I'd give the experienced vet, the champion vet, I'd give him the upper hand.
Tonight in Oklahoma City, this afternoon, they've had the College World Series for the softball, right?
No, I think it's tonight.
It's tonight?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, the AAA team, the Oklahoma City...
They changed their name.
Comets?
I think it is the Comets. You're exactly right.
Are they with the Dodgers still?
They are still with the Dodgers. I know that. But
they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the world would you not move that to noon and anybody that shows with a jersey on gets in free?
Yeah, I have no
3,200, the box score last night for their game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and we're talking about it. All of Major League Baseball is playing day games. Minor League Baseball plays day games all the time. All the time. It's, I don't know how schools...
I don't know what the high temperature was today in Oklahoma City.
I don't know. There's probably warm. I don't know what the schools look like, but I know here schools just got out. So, I mean, it feels like a good
opportunity
that game. Of, hey, let's get a day game, bring the kids out, let's have fun. But you're right. It is 7 o'clock first pitch.
I am really sorry. I really am. What has happened to minor league baseball.
Yeah.
But they've done some of it to themselves.
Certainly have. Yeah, I mean, they're...
It always had a loosey-goosey feel to minor league baseball.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of the carnival in town.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that was colorful. Some of it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But now... I don't recognize minor league baseball, and it's really tough for it to exist.
Yeah, no, it is. You're not wrong.
My theory of we love sports, but we want big things, and that Thursday night at a AAA game just doesn't do it for many people.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you can look at a lot of these places.
I see this bowl schedule out today.
Yeah,
some of those, I just some of those that are more name brandy than others. I just don't know in a playoff world how they continue.
You mentioned more name brandy. That was kind of the thing that jumped out to me when seeing the bowl schedule. Some of the new names of these bowls and all the names of these bowls. It's
no Bahamas Bowl.
No Bahamas Bowl.
But we'll play somewhere.